You guys, how are y'all doing? Good. Okay. Who had a great Thanksgiving? Let me see. Raise your hands. Who had a great Thanksgiving? I did. I ate so much food. Who is ready for Christmas now? Let me tell you, I was ready for Christmas before Thanksgiving even happened. It is my favorite holiday. I know. You guys can hate. I had my tree up. I had my lights up. It makes me happy. Okay. You can't say it. It makes me happy. Okay. But tonight, we are going to be starting a brand new series called Travel Light, and it is our first night. We're going to be doing it all of December. Just want to introduce a little bit of what it's about. We are going to be talking all about letting go of the things in our life that keep us from Jesus, that keep us from having that deeper relationship with him, knowing him better. There's all sorts of different things in each of our lives that are almost like those roadblocks. So we are going to be talking about letting go of those, getting rid of them, not worrying about them anymore, that sort of stuff. So it's going to be 3 weeks. First week, we're going to be talking about distractions. Then we're going to be talking about letting go of control. And then we're going to be talking about letting go of your past. So tonight, we are talking about distractions. And I want to know who in here is an easily distracted person. I'm raising my hand all the way up. All my girls in my small group, 7th and 8th grade girls, you better be raising your hands. I would say it's a lot of us, maybe even most of us, right, are easily distracted. And there are all these things in life that try to pull our attention, try to get our attention. Let me tell you about myself. I told you I'm easily distracted. I told you we're just going to start with that, okay? Every single day. It's not like a once a week thing. It's not like a once a month thing. Like, I'm telling you, every single day, there's a moment in my life where I'm talking to Kyle, my husband, and I start a sentence, and I just never finish it. Like, something else has caught my attention. I've thought about something else. I'm distracted, and I just never finish it. And I'm just on to the next thing, and then he'll just kind of like nudge me, and he's like, hey, is there an end to that statement? Or like, hey, that's a great story. You want to finish it? Like, you want to fill me in on whatever else you've got going on? And I'm like, oh, right. Okay, got to get back in it. So it takes a little bit of nudging. It takes that someone else helping me refocus, right? And so with distractions in our lives, we have all these different things, all these pressures, okay, maybe our friends, all these different things that are distracting. And what we want to help you do tonight is be that person that's like, hey, let's get back on track. Let's refocus. So with that, we are just going to be talking about the phrase that's just kept coming back to me over and over again is that with distractions, whatever is not pushing you towards God is pulling you away from him. So I think a lot of times we spend our lives in kind of this neutral state of it's like, I'm not like really pursuing him, but I'm not like not, you know? Like I'm not like reading my Bible every day, but I'm not as bad as some people. Like I'm not doing all that sort of stuff. Like I'm not going after him with my whole heart, but I'm not like hating him, right? So I'm fine, right? I'm chill. We're fine. But no, we're not fine. Because if the things in our life aren't constantly pushing us towards Christ, we're just naturally going to drift away. We just are. That's how it works. That's what's going to happen. So I want you guys to think of those different things in your life that might be pulling you away from God. And sometimes those things aren't necessarily bad. Sometimes they're good things, right? I think a lot of us would probably say that we're really busy just in life, our schedules, that sort of stuff. And a lot of the things you do, a lot of things that you've got going on are not bad things. They're good things, right? But I just want to ask you, and I want you to think about your life, are they what's best for you? Because even good things can be bad if they're not what's best. And what is best for you guys is Jesus. It's always, always, always Jesus. And so we're going to look at a story in the Bible in Luke 10. And I love this story. It's been coming back in my life, just recurring for like a couple months, maybe even a year. It's just been coming back to me, and I love it. Okay, so I'm going to read that for y'all. So it's in Luke 10, verses 38 through 42. And it says, "Now as they went on their way, Jesus entered a village, and a woman named Martha," okay, first girl, Martha, "welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary." Okay, so we got Martha and we got Mary, and they're sisters. How many of you have a sister or a sibling? Okay, they're sisters. They live together, know each other very intimately, like they're sisters. Okay, so a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. They're in Martha's house. And she had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to him teaching. But Martha was distracted with much serving. And she went up to him and said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her then to come help me." But the Lord answered her, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her." So let me set the stage for you guys. This always reminds me, every time I read it, of my mom. How many times has it happened in your life? It happened all the time when I was a kid. Where someone comes over to your house, maybe unexpectedly, and your mom is like, "Go clean. Like, clean the bathrooms, clean the living room, we're cleaning the kitchen, we're like everything." You know, you're going down her list, frantically cleaning because like she wants to make her house nice, right? And now that I'm grown up, like it's happening to me too, and it stresses me out. It's fine, okay? But Jesus, they know who Jesus is. And he came to Martha's house, just unexpectedly. And so she is in there, kind of like your mom, cleaning the house, making dinner, okay, doing all of these things while her sister is just sitting in the living room. Would that make you mad?
Yes.
Yeah, right, me too, right, okay? But she comes to Jesus with that problem, and she's like, "Hey, man, I'm doing all this, and Mary's just sitting here, like, are you going to say something about that?" And Jesus is like, "No, actually, Mary's doing the right thing. Actually, Martha, you're the wrong one here." And so I think it's really important to look at why that is. Because Martha was cleaning her house. She was making dinner for, like, Jesus Christ, the God of the universe. That doesn't seem like a bad thing, right? But I just want to press into you guys that, like, doing things for Jesus is not the same thing as sitting with Jesus. And Martha was doing things for Jesus. She wanted to impress Jesus. She wanted to put her best foot forward, doing all these things, being busy, okay, being distracted. But Mary knew that the most important thing that she could be doing in that moment was not cooking dinner. Like, they could have called Domino's, you know what I'm saying? Like, was not cooking dinner. It was taking that time to sit at the feet of Jesus and learn from him, and just to know him and be near him, okay? And so I think that a lot of times applies to our lives, where we get so caught up, especially I think right now in December, it's Christmas time. Like, who's all got a lot going on? I'm pretty sure all of us do, right? You've got finals coming up. You've got family members to go visit. You've got all these different things, and it's so easy for us to just get caught up in like the doing of life, that we forget to just sit and rest in Jesus' arms, right? We forget that what we actually need more than anything is just Jesus himself, right? It's not all these different things. That's not what's going to help us to have what's best in our life. It's Jesus and nothing else. And so I think it's also really important to look at the fact that Martha, the stuff she was doing was not bad things, right? I don't think any of us would qualify that as like bad things that she shouldn't have been doing. No, it's not. They were all good things. You don't think that when you get cooked for, because I know you eat food. And so they were all good things, but they weren't the best thing for her in that moment. And Mary understood what was best. Martha was so distracted by what the world was telling her was important, like have a nice house, cook a nice meal, present yourself in this way. She was so distracted by the things that the world was telling her were important that she missed Jesus himself. Like God himself was sitting there in her house. And I know it's a little bit more difficult for us to visualize because we don't have Jesus as a person, sitting under the Christmas tree that we can just go sit beside and be like, teach me. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have that. But what we do have is the Holy Spirit, another person of God, like God himself, is here with us at all times. all times. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit are always here. And so we always have the opportunity to sit at his feet. It's not just when he comes over for dinner. Like, he's always over for dinner and lunch and breakfast, like all the time. Like, he's here right now, you know? And so we always have these moments that we have the opportunity to sit at his feet, when a lot of times in life we spend it doing things. And we think that the doing is actually going to make us closer to him, when he in reality just wants us to be. He just wants us to be with him. Okay, so that's kind of what we're going to be talking about for the whole month of December. Just kind of finding ways to minimize our distractions and almost like recenter ourselves. You know, kind of do that little nudge, like, hey, you going to finish that story? Like, hey, what are you doing? What are you really doing with your life? You know, you're distracted by all these different things. Let's kind of reel it back in, okay? And one super cool way that I get to do this kind of often, I have the unique opportunity to actually work at the church with the community ministry. And so I get the opportunity to meet all of our nonprofit partners and just all the different partners we have with our church. And our church likes to really focus on recentering and refocusing ourselves by serving other people. Because how much time do you have to spend thinking about yourself when you're doing something for other people? You know? And so tonight, to kick off this new series, we have some friends that are going to come and talk to us. We're going to get their stools out for them, if y'all want to go ahead and come on up. They are from one of our nonprofit partners, actually right across the street, New Path, 1010. And so they are going to come and talk to us a little bit about what they do and what their roles are there. And then you guys are actually going to have the opportunity to serve and actually put this in practice. Because a lot of times I think we can kind of get in a rut of like not knowing what to do with all the information that we give you guys. Like, we can talk to you guys so much and all the time, but like if y'all don't know what to do with the information, then like what's the point, you know? So we are going to talk tonight about New Path. So if each of you guys wants to go around and tell us your name and maybe your role, and then maybe like how long you've been there.
Hey guys, I'm Lindsay Ann Hammerlin. I attend 316 at Bethlehem Church, just FYI. I have been volunteering with New Path since its beginning, which is 4 years. I just started as a volunteer. I wanted to help, and now the three of us are like the head volunteers. We don't get paid, but we absolutely love what we do. And did I answer all your questions?
Yeah. Yes.
What do you do?
Oh, what do I do?
Oh, yeah, what's your role?
What's my job? Okay, so I actually coordinate all of the volunteers who come and pack our bags, and we'll talk more about that in a second. And I also do all the ordering of the food for the bags. And I come and serve whenever I can in person, but I teach during the day, so.
Awesome.
I'm Kirsten, and I've been there just as long as Lindsay Ann, about 4 years. I, too, was just a volunteer on Mondays, started bagging, and we really had a great time doing it. Lindsay Ann had to go, went back to teaching, so what I do on Monday mornings is I coordinate everybody. I figure out how many number of bags we need, figure out how much food we need. I let everybody know the number of items that they need to put in the bags. I count the bags to make sure they go to the right schools. I help Lindsay Ann with the ordering. So, and then we also have a group of gentlemen that deliver the bags on Thursdays, and so I kind of coordinate with them to let them know what bags are going to the schools.
And I'm Debbie Hawkins. I've been with New Path almost 3 years, and I kind of go along with what they need, pretty much. I'm there every Monday and help coordinate to get everybody ready, get the volunteers, the new volunteers, make sure that they feel comfortable. We have a homeschool group, so we keep kids corralled for the most part. But it's exciting. We pack almost 300 bags a week, so we know that the students that receive these bags in Bexar County have something to eat for the weekend. We also go 2 or 3 times a month to Sam's for our big deliveries. That's where most of the food comes from. And we work very well together. We have a text constantly going between the three of us, and then a couple others here and there. but our main focus is the kids.
Awesome. So, is there anyone that you know, maybe your parents, maybe you guys, any of your friends, have any of you guys ever volunteered with New Path before? Yeah? Yes? Yes? Okay, we got a couple. Awesome, we love that. So, for the rest of you guys, we're just going to talk a little bit about how they got started and then what they do in the community. So if you want to talk about kind of the history behind it.
So New Path is actually more than just food bags, but right now, New Path's big focus, so we're a nonprofit, which basically means that we get money, but we don't none of us get paid. It all goes towards the work that we're doing. So we currently, right now, New Path is doing food bags. So we, like Miss Debbie said, we make 300 bags a week that go to Barrow County schools. Miss Kirsten will tell you all of the schools that they go to. And basically what these bags are for, maybe you have a friend or you've seen someone that has, or you've heard of people who get free or reduced lunches, or maybe they just are having a really hard time with their family or something's gone on and they just need a little bit of help. And so our food bags are great because they are food that every single kid from kindergarten to 12th grade can prepare by themselves. So they don't need an adult to help them cook it. They can put it in the microwave or they can just pop it open themselves. And the kids get the bags on Thursday or Friday, and so it's to help them stay full over the weekend because a lot of these kids are getting free breakfast and lunch at school, and so this really just helps them with that food scarcity so that they aren't worried about where their next meal is going to be over the weekend. Also in our bags, which this is my favorite part, is there's a little message card every week, and these are just words of affirmation and positivity for them because the whole purpose of New Path is to end poverty and to really equip the next generation so that they can be independent and not struggle. So that's really our big focus. So we put those words of encouragement just to really encourage and make them feel like they are so important because they are.
Yeah, that's really good. So then would you guys want to go through what you do on a weekly basis, I guess?
Okay, so on a weekly basis, what we do is everybody comes about 9 o'clock and we get together and we pray over the bags and over the kids and the food. And then what we do is we have, some months there's 4 weeks, some months there's 5 weeks, but each week has a different thing of food. It's usually about, I think it's about 12 to 14 items, and each week it kind of varies. It's all the same food, but it varies. And so what I do usually on Sunday night is I get the numbers and I figure out, sometimes you get four cans of Chef Boyardee, sometimes you get 2 oatmeals. So I have to figure out all of the numbers. And then what I do is each volunteer, I give them a number and a food item. And they go get that item. So last week I think we had 682 packets of oatmeal. So they had to get the oatmeal. They were going to go put 6 in a bag. So they figured all that out. Once they do it, it's like an assembly line. So if I gave you oatmeal, you're in charge of oatmeal. You put however many you need to go in the bag. We do in a little assembly line, and at the very end, we put the card in, and then I count out how many bags go to each school in bins. So we do that we do elementary school, and then high school and middle school gets the same amount of food. High school and middle school gets a little bit more food because y'all eat a little bit more than elementary school kids.
Y'all eat a lot.
But that's what we do. The schools we service, there's 6 elementary schools. Hopefully I remember them. We do County Line, Bethlehem, Bramlett, Yargo, Statham, and Holsenbeck. And then we do 2 middle schools, Bear Creek and Heyman Morris. And then we do Appalachia High School and the alternative school. The thing that's really cool about the bags is a lot of high schoolers aren't going to want to take their red bags or white bags. They're not going to want to take the bags home. Appalachia, what they do is they put the bags in book bags. So when you're leaving the high school, you have a book bag that has the food, and then the kids bring the book bags back. And I know my son always takes 2 book bags to school anyway because he is in sports. So that's super cool. And then the other kids, they put the food in their book bags and take it home with them. And then, I think that's
Cool. Awesome. Anything to add?
The only other thing is we do keep in communication with the schools.
Yeah.
We send out either emails or texts to make sure that they're getting the right number of bags because as students transfer in or transfer out, we want to make sure they're still getting the food that they need. We also keep in touch with the volunteers through texting or phone calls. It's a lot of communication, and it's so rewarding. I used to work at Yargo, and I tell the story quite often. I knew some of the kids that got these bags, and they would get so excited because they would say, "Look, I get to eat this weekend." And that broke my heart to hear that's all they're going to get to eat this weekend. But at the same time, they're going to get to eat this weekend. And all of you are sitting there going, "What are you talking about? They don't get something to eat." It happens in your neighborhood, in your school. Be extra thankful for what you have on the table every night. And I know sometimes we just want to sit and go, "I don't like this." Think about it next time, because it's made a lot of kids. We have a homeschool group, and their parents have said they don't complain about food anymore because they know that they get food, and there's a lot of kids that don't. Just something extra to think about.
Yeah, and that's a super huge way that, like, we're talking about you can refocus or recenter yourself is through, like, the gratitude of looking at each of these different families that they serve and being grateful for what God has blessed you with. Because, you know, it's not these kids' fault. It's not any of these students' fault at all that they don't have food for a weekend, but it's so cool that you guys come alongside them and serve them with dignity and with love and with so much intentionality. I just think it's the most incredible thing. And like y'all heard the schools that they mentioned. Have any of you guys, like, do you go to those schools? You went to those, you know, elementary schools or those middle schools? Like, that's not like a third world country, you know? It's right down the road. It's your community too. It's not just like serving with New Path and just serving the community. It's not just something that your parents can do. These are people that are your age that are also affected, that you can love and serve and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So we're just really grateful that they're here tonight, and we're grateful that we're going to be able to serve with them. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what we're going to do, and then we're going to hop into it, because something that I'm really passionate about is different forms of worship. Normally we would do a song right now, right? After the message, we would pray, do a song, go to small groups, and that's our normal flow of things. But serving people is in and of itself an act of worship. Praising God for what you have, praising God for the people that he created that you're getting to love. You know, so we're going to break you up into small groups to pack some bags, some goodie bags for these kids, for these students. And as you're doing it, maybe take time to pray for them. Take time to just think about your life, the situations that you've been in so far, situations that you could have been in, how God has blessed you, what he's brought you through, and then just be mindful of where you are and where you could be, and take time and pray for those people that we're serving. Does that sound good?